Hello, welcome to Blades in the Dark. It is so great to have everyone here tonight. Ben, is there anything you need to say, producer-wise or Garbag-wise, before we get going?
Nope, don't think so. I think you're far away. Do your thing. You're in charge.
Fabulous. I have a wonderful crew of scoundrels here with me today. I think probably one of my favorites of all time. I say this knowing many members of the chat currently playing another campaign with me, but I love you guys too. But everyone's made a huge effort tonight, so it's great to see. We are going to do as much of this in-game as possible, so we'll get straight into it. But it'd be nice to just thank, first of all, Ben and Aaron and Nye and Tyler and Pat for playing with me tonight. And welcome to the beginning of the first actual Blades in the Dark campaign that's going to run for a couple of missions. We've only ever done one shot, so there's some persistent characters. This is our first campaign. I'm hoping to get 3 or 4 missions out of this, and hopefully you'll get a feel for how the game runs from downtime, engagements, and all the kind of messy stuff that happens in these criminal lives outside of what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. So our story begins, if you can imagine, this giant bulwark of an iron train thundering its way into a station. And as it's coming down through this almost like a desolate desert wasteland with cracked earth everywhere, there's arcs of lightning arcing off it. And they're zapping these ghosts that are like harassing the train. They just keep bouncing off the outside of the train. And as it pulls in through what looks like a wall of light, all the ghosts dissipate. And it pulls up to this very crowded, messy, dark train stop. So our story begins, first thing that you can imagine, the doors open. This giant will begin unloading cargo. But amongst the cargo, we see a figure standing on their own, looking shy and abashed as they step out their first steps into Duskfall. And Saul, how are you?
I am a bit nervous. This is my first time being in the big city, and I'm ready to be a star, and I'm sure that's going to go really well for me. I'm definitely not going to get embroiled in anything bad. It's all going to be good. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So Saul, you're looking out to the platform, and it's like that weird feeling where you land in a foreign country, and there's like 2 or 3 minutes where you go, what's step 1? Yeah. And you spot eyes with this guy who is making unblinking eye contact with you. He's completely bald. He's like a wizened old man, but he has tattoos of like numbers counting to 5 on his face. He's got about the number 25 plus tattooed onto his face.
Okay.
Are you the Scovelander?
Oh, yes, that's me. Picking up his case. Oh, yes, hello. Oh.
So he kind of cannonballs his rotundity over to you, and he's like, "Oh, I'm Innocent Garrett. Pleased to make your acquaintance."
Oh, it's nice to meet you too, Innocent Garrett.
Yeah, well, my friends just call me Innocent. Or Garrett, one or the other.
Okay, yeah, Garrett works for me. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been contracted to bring you to them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, definitely. Yes, please do that.
Right, fabulous. Well, we can walk, but it's a very long way, and I know a couple of the cabbies, so we'll either take a cab or a gondola. What's your preference? How you see legs?
They are very leggy and sea-like. Yeah.
You'll do really well here, son. Hey, word to the wise. See that purse you're wearing when you're outside?
Yeah.
Put it inside the jacket, love.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's like a group of orphans across the way going, right, if you follow me, and you come through the station, and it is so, like, the thing that stands out to you is how loud it is in the city. You've come from Scotland, where there is industry, but there is industry here. There's like pumps running. You can see the train is now being spun on a platform to be turned back out. There's all sorts of people touting all sorts of businesses and food, and try our eels. And Innocent is leading you through, and he's kind of got you by the sleeve, and he's leading you through this crowd. And he's like, "Sorry, then, man. Sorry. Yeah, welcome to Duskfall. Oh, Duskfall. I mean, the city may have a lot of names, but that's because it was a lot of cities."
Oh, yes, of course. Mm-hmm. I've read a lot about the place.
Yeah. So you'll know then at any time something fell over, we just built on top of it again. I mean, apparently this place existed pre-cataclysm. But anyone could say anything pre-cataclysm because nobody fucking knows. Come on.
Yeah, he's getting buffed, by the way.
Yeah.
He's not surviving.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry.
And you come out to this cobbleblock street, and there's like all sorts of cabs and coaches. A lot of them are pulled by goats, or some of them are like steam horses at the front of them. And you're brought to this it's like a black coach with no heraldry, and there's a very, very unimpressed lady sitting on top of it. And Garrett's like, "Oh, that's our cab. All right, Sheila." And she's like, "All right, Garrett. Yeah, I'm just bringing this guy down to Six Towers, like we agreed." And as you get in, you spot that Garrett is handing over a coin to Sheila and goes, You didn't see us you didn't take this fare, did you, Sheila?" She's like, "No, I was off duty." "All right, yeah, well done, Sheila." And he gets in and closes the door behind him.
Yeah, no, that's normal. Yeah, that's a normal thing for people to do. It's very normal. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, look, Sunshine, I'll give you a bit of information. Duskfall, beautiful city. They call it the crown and the emperor's throne. His king's hat, crown, innit? The jewel in his crown. That's it. But if that is the case, the crown ain't worth stealing. It's a rough old town. Everything here belongs to someone, and you don't want people knowing your business.
Oh, yes, yeah, that makes sense. Yes, thank you. Okay.
Right, what is it you've come here to do?
I'm going to become an actor.
Right, you failed the first test, son. You should have lied to me.
Okay. I'm not going to be an actor. I'm going to be a dock worker.
Fantastic. I know stevedores if you want to be hooked up. And as you're going down the street, you see these they're like old kind of Victorian style row houses, but they're they're split up by copper pipes going up into the sky. It's so dark, and there are these like white lights, white street lights all the way down. We're in the middle of the night cycle right now, but I'm sure you know from Scotland, it's pretty much dark all the time here. You can tell it's the night cycle because of the white lights. In the daytime, we use amber lights.
Yeah.
Helps keep your head in check, you know.
Yeah. Just taking it all.
Right. So we're going down to Six Towers. It's a bit of a dodgy area, but I mean there are many dodgy areas here. One thing I want you to know is that you run into any trouble, you ask for Innocent Garrett. There's a pub called the Row Inn. You just ask for me, right?
Okay. Yeah.
We'll get that acting career off and running.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that sounds great. Yeah.
See, you're trundling down this road, and as you look out the road, out the window, you see these it's like a swarm of crows in the dark, and they're quite hard to spot at first. You almost think they're bats, until one of them lands on a pole that you're walking past, or you're rolling past, and Garrett's like, "Ooh, trouble tonight. Yeah, those are Death Seeker crows. You don't want nothing to do with it."
Oh, does that mean someone has died?
Yeah, well, no doubt you saw the electrical fields as you came into Duskfall, right?
Yeah, they were quite something.
They keep the ghosts out, but the only problem is they also keep them in when they're in. So, it's the crows are for.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Well, I'm a little less scared of the crows now. Ghosts and I are on weird grounds. Let's just say.
Right, again.
Lie.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay. I know nothing about ghosts.
That's my boy. He's learning.
Yeah.
There's this continues for about 15 minutes of him showing you all the ropes, recommending, if you're going in there, ask for a pint of Leviathan. It's the darkest beer. You'll hate it. And, he's pointing at all the different stalls. And he's like, Millie there. Well, yeah, no, she runs a good game, I'll be honest. But, yeah, you want to watch out for that one. And you come down into Six Towers. And it's a different district in that it looks quite regal. But the streets are kind of empty. And as you're rolling down, there's what used to be a boathouse for this quite established manor, but it's in kind of disrepute. And Garrett's like, "Oh, this is a spot, son. This is kick off your acting career in here."
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'll walk you in.
Okay.
So we cut to the rest of you. You're sitting around this moldy wooden table. There's an opening to the black, inky darkness of the water, and your barge floats, sturdy and finicky as she is, just in eye line with you guys. And the conversation is kind of dipped as the door swings open An innocent Garrett walks in, dragging Saul behind him. Nye, what does Saul look like?
So he's probably someone in his early 20s. He's got curly blonde hair that's quite short. It's kind of like it's a little sheep almost, like that kind of thick curls. He is dressed I guess you could say, low noble. Like, he thinks this is very fancy and expensive, but someone who actually comes from like money would be like, oh no, you're just pretending. And he's carrying like a kind of a smallish suitcase with him, which he keeps all his stuff in, and he looks like every pickpocket's best dream.
Fantastic. So, this kind of bright-eyed, bushy-tailed kid walks in and is looking at a table of miscreants and ne'er-do-wells. And it's like that scene where you enter the bar and the music stops playing, except there was no music to stop playing in the first place. So everyone's just turned their head to look at you. And Garrett goes, "Oh, don't be like that. He's new. You asked for a Skovelander. I got you a Skovelander."
Hi.
So the wall
Right
at the
there,
back
honestly.
of the table moves, and it's not a wall, it's a person. This enormous creature-like thing reaches out a hand about the size of your head, all wrapped up in bandages, and kind of points it at your face. And goes, "Slab."
I'm Saul. It's nice to meet you.
Completely head to toe, wrapped in bandages and hidden under a massive overcoat and a huge hat. This creature just gives you a lopsided grin. Slab.
A Slab. Don't mind him. He's a lovely, lovely gent. He sent my mum flowers when she died for the 3rd time. I'll introduce it. There's a lot of Tykerosi here. Jackdaw, you're Tykerosi, aren't you?
Well, that I am, my good friend. You notice a average size, slender man stand up. He's got dusky skin and silver hair that's shaved close to his head. You have no idea what color his eyes are because he's perpetually wearing his dark-sided glasses. He's wearing a bowler cap and a waistcoat and a very old white silk shirt. He scampers up and holds out his hand. He's like, "Jackdaw's the name, my friend."
Oh, it's Saul. It's nice to meet you.
"Ah, it's a pleasure, Saul." And he pulls you in for a bear hug.
Oh, okay, yes. Oh, hugs. Yes, hugs are good. Yes.
Goes back, sits down, then tosses you back your coin purse. "You got to keep an eye on that there, Saul."
Oh, okay.
What did I tell you? Wear it inside the jacket. I'm sorry, boys. He's new. He's new.
What's inside?
You're like, you get the scent of like, it smells like rubbing alcohol. And you turn and you're looking at Pat's character who is sniffing a bottle. And also, you get the feeling that Virginia Ash is trying to figure out, is this actually drinkable?
Oh,
She tips it back. She looks up at the newbie and she says, "The name's Ash."
oh, it's nice to meet you, Ash. Extends hands.
I don't do mention.
What does Ash look like, Pat?
Ash is a copper-skinned woman with long black hair, and her face is marred by some soot-like black markings that almost look like pox, some sort of strange pox that she had in her childhood. And she's wearing a wide-brimmed hat, wider than the one that I'm wearing on scene. And it's pitch black with a floral design. And you can almost make out flowery horses on the floral pattern. And she's got a bandana, a long duster, and a grim attitude as she decides to tip it back once more.
You can see like other people's eyes watering at the taste of this alcohol. You know that the scent is that strong, and that leaves one last person at the table. Quite a mysterious figure. In fact, they're sitting there masked currently.
Hello, I'm Saul.
So, I'm Murmur.
It's nice to meet you, Murmur. Yes. He's gonna go over to Innocent. These are very strange actors.
Yeah, son, look, I'll be honest with you, I couldn't get you that acting job you were looking for. This is a bit of an interim in between. But, you know, it's a pro bono, a bit of exposure, get you on stage eventually, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'll have you know, Six Towers, where you are right now, had the best opera hall in the entire of the Akarosi continent.
Okay.
Yeah, but Innocent, wasn't that like 250 years ago?
Yeah, just like me, it's gone now. And he walks out and closes the door behind him. You think you all sat at the table, and there's this kind of like this weird. Oh, and now we're all here. What are we doing?
Just gonna sit at the table.
So, do you gamble?
I have played cards once, not very well, but I have played. Yes.
Well, we're gonna get along just fine then, my friend. That is, once of course we get a little coin in the stash.
Oh, I mean, I do have. Oh, is this the job? The work? Yes.
Well, some call it work, I call it fun.
Oh. Well, my mother always said, if you do something you find fun, you'll never work in a day in your life. So yeah, that what kind of fun things does it involve?
I've got a barge.
Oh, like, so we take people on like boating trips to see the sights?
That is one possibility, Saul. One possibility indeed.
Well, that does sound quite nice, yeah.
I mean, occasionally people shoot at us while we do it, but you know, that's just the nature of the business. A piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, I've never been shot at before. That's fine. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
getting shot at's not the thing. Getting hit, that's the problem.
I can imagine.
Is there anyone in the gang who's kind of keeping an eye out? Like, you know, not keeping watch, but like listening?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Slab
Definitely.
is all eyes all the time, constant surveying, constant studying, doesn't stop looking at things, just looks like an idiot.
Okay,
The only thing my character can't see is the ceiling.
Yeah.
I'm just staring directly at Soul the entire time.
So it's doing that like polite thing where it's just like I'm not going to make eye, but then every so often.
It is like, you know, whispers. You've met people before that can deal with ghosts, but generally they take their masks off because they're actually an illegal item to have in the city. So this person sitting here clearly feels more comfortable wearing the mask amongst colleagues, but you kind of get a feeling there has to be a face behind there somewhere. Like,
I'm hoping, although I don't know.
Second mask. So, Slab, this is the beauty of Blades in the Dark. I can't tell you what to roll. But if you're on the lookout for someone, tell me what you're rolling and how you're doing that. You could wreck. You could knock the wall down.
I'm not going to wreck. No, I'm going to simply survey. I've got this sort of glassy-eyed stare that Slab has perfected over many, many years of practice, where it looks like they're looking at absolutely nothing, but what they're really doing is kind of unfocusedly looking at everything and then narrowing in to stuff that catches their attention.
Perfect. So, this is our first roll, and it's a great explanation to everyone how things roll. When Ben clicks into their roll, they'll get a question. And the question, first of all, is the position of the roll. Is this a dangerous roll to make? So, for example, Ben could be standing on the back of a carriage shooting pistols at someone. That would be a desperate roll because this is a life and death situation. Or Ben could be at home eating popcorn and trying to get it into their mouth. That would be a controlled roll. In general, most rolls in Blades in the Dark are risky. Now, it's important to note, if you make a desperate roll, you get experience from making that roll. So it's incentivized to do desperate things, to do things to push up a notch. So, Ben, if you click the skill you're rolling,
Yep.
and then you click position, the position for this is controlled. You're in a safe spot with a lot of friends. looking out. Yeah. And then your effect is how successful you are at this. So, for example, Pat could tell me that Ash is going to knock down a watchtower with a sledgehammer. The position is desperate, and the effect is limited because they're not going to make much progress with a sledgehammer against a watchtower. However, if they said I'm going to knock down a watchtower with a battering ram, the position would be risky and the effect would be great. There are differences to all things. So in this condition, Ben, your position is standard. You either see someone or you don't.
No bonus dice. Submit.
Here we go. And our first failed roll of the game.
Huzzah!
Excellent. 2 3s. So Blades in the Dark is a D6 system. A 1, 2, and 3 is a fail. A 4, 5, and 6 are a success. A 6 is a great success. A 4 and 5 are a success and a catch. Yeah, there's too much going on around the table for you to notice anything other than Jackdaw's trying to get like a game of cards going, and he's like putting slugs into the table. Ash, you would say should be steaming drunk by now, but seems to be holding their own. You can't tell is it an act or are they actually. And Saul is like sitting there like a wide-eyed child, and Chris is murmurs, freaking everyone out a little bit at the table. You know, whispers are not fun at the best of times. And it's at that moment the door that was closed 5-10 minutes ago by Innocent swings open, and you are greeted by the figure of this husky, overweight man in waders with a walk like someone with early onset rigor mortis. They've got like gristle in their beard. They smell like a sewer on day 3 of like a summer heat wave. And they're looking at you with these eyes that are unfocused and wild. And they're standing there breathing deep.
Hey, Slab, it looks like one of your pals. No offense, of course.
Right up and look at the guy really closely.
Oh, hello, Edna.
Slab.
Apologies about the suit. Possession is tricky at this kind of range, and I really just had to pick up whatever I could. I assure you, he smells worse on the inside.
Dead body.
Yes, Mama, it looks like I was wrong. It's not one of Slab's friends. It's one of yours.
Don't worry about the dead body, Saul. We all get that way at some point.
This figure kind of like moves like a bad puppet with like 2 blown out knees and a back that is on its way to be blown out, and sits down at the table in a move that rocks the whole room. And, oh, I am terribly sorry. I'm normally better at this, but like I said, the distance is unbelievable. You wouldn't imagine. And these 2 hams of fists on the table. Edna Dimmer. Pleasure to make your acquaintance, everyone.
It's
Well,
nice.
it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance too, ma'am.
Mom.
So, no doubt, we've actually met before. I know you've all been on a bit of a winning streak recently.
Well, with this crew, that's for sure. My last crew, not so much.
Yeah,
I found
absolutely.
a rock.
Absolutely, yes. And the Rock, yes. I'm terribly sorry to inform you. Myself and my sisters have been tinkering with your dreams a little bit.
Can't say I didn't notice.
Yes, I know. We're a bit heavy-handed sometimes. That rock, I'm afraid, we pointed you in the direction. And Jackdaw, your last crew, the only reason you didn't get nicked is it was us that told you to duck. Saul, I'm so glad you came to this city. It's really fantastic to have you, and I hope your acting career flourishes here.
Thank you.
Murmur, it's been more of a constant conversation than a dream, hasn't it really, honey?
Sadly.
Yes, the feeling is mutual. And Ash, I am terribly sorry about that business. I didn't know you'd shoot him.
Ash shoots everyone.
Yes, well, we know that now. So, now that I have you all together, boom, and the smell of eels from this man slapping his hands, this kind of fishy smell of like, to try this flops off. Would we like to earn a bit of money?
Edna, now you are talking our language.
Absolutely. There's a reason I sought you out.
Shot me once.
Yeah, well.
We're not gonna get shot at, are we?
So, I have, amongst my sisters, been devising the perfect crew for a job. Slab, you're the muscle and brains, obviously.
Yeah.
Soul, you make people like you despite their best intentions. Jackdaw, you're very good at taking things. Murmur, you terrify most people, but except the undead. And Ash, you kill people. Exactly. So you're just the crew we needed for this particular job.
Got a big brain.
Absolutely.
Really
There
big
nothing,
hat.
nothing passes us, Slab, don't you worry. So my sisters and I, we're in the business of, we're in the business of none of your business. We collect things, people, souls, that kind of thing. And we want something that we think you could take and give to us without anyone knowing you ever took it.
Legitimate
That sounds like it's right up
business
my alley.
concern.
Yes, I understand this is a risky job and you will be handsomely compensated. And this thing we are looking for you to take for us isn't quite theft. Because I'll be honest, nobody really wants it. In fact, this is kind of civic duty.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Yes, we would like a ghost.
Oh, that sounds bad. That sounds very bad.
Not just any ghost. We take any ghost we like. We want a particular ghost.
Now there, Miss Dimmer, is that particular ghost you're looking for already a ghost, or do we need to make them a ghost first?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Yes, they have been a ghost for quite some time. They're a bit of a stubborn ghost. Now, my sisters and I could grab it in an instant, but we don't tend to leave the house except like this. And as you can see, it has its limitations. And as she's saying this, the guy's jaw just falls open for a second. He goes, "Ah, no, sorry." Again, the range. We really have to work on the range. I don't know if you know this. There's a bit of a squabble going on down at Crow's Foot at the moment. A couple of gangs are angling for, I suppose, ownership of the area itself. Now, we used to do business with one of these gangs in particular. The Crows, of course. They were old school. We liked how they did things. Bit of respect. Liked the occult. Sadly, their leader's dead. Anyway, we'd like his ghost.
Now, what kind of compensation are we talking about here, Miss Dimmer?
Well, it's kind of a tiered thing. So, we will compensate you depending on how the product arrives. If you get the ghost to us, but you're followed by the Watch and the Spirit Wardens and all the gangs of Crow's Foot, maximum we could do is just reimburse you for costs. If this is a smooth operation and no one knows you ever took Rurik, then I think we could do about 6 coin.
Well, I can't speak for everybody, but my share of 6 coin makes me very, very excited to be a part of this operation. But I got one more question for you. Where is his ghost, and why haven't the Spirit Wardens already collected on that little problem?
Yes, so, how to say this? The Crows drink in a pub known as the Moor. You know the Moor?
I might have had a chance to go by the mall from time to time.
Then no doubt you know the story of the Moor. And for the rest of you, the Moor is a tavern like any other. Oh, sorry, I forgot you're new. It's a tavern like any other, except it has one little quirk, and that is a giant hole in the floor that goes down who knows how far.
Oh.
All the way.
It goes very far. We know how far. And the Crows have a habit of doing business where when you come in, the hole is sealed, you know you're on good terms with the Crows. However, if a job is particularly serious and there's a lot of money involved, when you come in to negotiate the terms, the Maw is, how you say, willing to accept visitors. Rurik is in the Maw. How far down, we can't tell. It's very hard to penetrate the earth with us, our abilities. But we know he's down there, and we also know there's a way down there. We just don't know what it is.
Fishy.
So
Yes.
then, so what I'm hearing then is you want us to go to the Maw, quiet-like, get down in there, find Rorik's ghost, get him out, and smuggle him across the city to you without any complications.
Yes, Jackdaw, that is exactly what we require.
And what kind of timeline are we talking about here, Madam Dimmer?
Well, he died yesterday, and the sooner we get him back, the more of him we get.
Now then, do you want the body with the ghost inside of it, or do you want us to pull the ghost out and put it in a spirit bottle and bring it just the ghost?
He's very much not in the body anymore. In fact, there's not a lot of Rorik left, if you will.
I hear you. Well, you already got my vote, because you know what? That sounds just crazy enough to pique my interests. How about the rest of y'all?
I've got a barge.
Sounds
I go
like
where
a
the
challenge.
ghost goes.
I like a challenge.
I don't have much of a
So
choice,
you're
do
gonna
I?
love it.
Okay.
Yes, you will enjoy.
I'm sure we'll
Ghosts
find
are
use for
a
the glass
delight.
and bait.
Oh, I think she's used the word bait to describe me. I'm gonna be quiet now.
Term of
Excellent.
endearment.
So we are agreed. As soon as can be done, I would wish within the week, so 4 more days. As soon as we can get Rorik to the Dimmer Sisters, you'll find below the house, there's a gondola. Just leave him on the gondola in whatever way you found him, and your coin will be delivered to you. Buy another suit.
It's a pleasure doing business with you, Madam Dimmer. We'll get right on this.
Oh, one last thing. We hate to be disappointed. In fact, we love to be impressed. I have a certain, something that I think you might like. If this goes well, you can have it. And with that, this oaf of a man rises from the table and kind of crab walks his way around everyone and swings the door open. And you watch as he walks 10 steps down the road and then collapses and then stands up and looks around like, where the hell am I? And then just takes off at a run.
Oh, he was alive. Oh, that makes it more disturbing somehow.
Slab turns
yeah.
around and points at a small hole in the back of his coat right over his buttocks. She shot me in the bum.
Oh.
That was just Ash saying hello.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I say howdy instead. Guns usually get the point across though.
Well, then I suppose we ought to scope out the situation, see if we can't figure out how to get down in that hole without any of the crow, being particularly irritated by that.
Barge ain't gonna fit in the hole.
It's a hole.
Well, the barge fits outside the hole, typically.
I'd say we're probably going to have to make our way across city streets, not on the barge, into the Crows district and go to their pub. May not be using the barge on this one.
So just for clarification, we're gonna go to a gang's bar and we're gonna take their dead boss's ghost and we've got to get said ghost to the terrifying witch ladies, and if we get found out by either parties we're gonna die horribly. Do I understand that correctly?
Welcome to Dustfall.
We won't die
Oh.
horribly. We'll all end up in Ironhook. It's a lovely little place to relax for a few months. Well, I mean, we may die in the process, but I mean, if we get nicked by the blue coats, we just go to Iron Hook. Of course, if the crows get us, yeah, they'll kill us for sure.
Yeah, no, that, yeah, oh, yeah, just gonna, yeah, no, okay, yeah, just gonna hear what you guys gotta say on this plan. Yeah.
Well, what did you do back on the other island?
I mean, I was a milkman, kind of like a milkmaid, but you know, the male equivalent of that. And then I wanted to
Males
be an
don't
actor.
make milk.
I would milk the cows, but yeah.
Oh, with that attitude. Now we get to one of my favorite parts of the game, which is Blades in the Dark. The entire reason it was invented or made or written is that allegedly John Harper was sitting at a D&D session where they planned their attack for like an hour and a half, and then after the first two moves, their attack no longer worked. Their plan that had taken this long. So the whole idea of the game is that we skip the planning stage. Not skip it, but we trim it down. And at this point, you guys now know your target. You know what is desired of you, but you have the option to gather information. If there's any way you can think to gather information, we now roleplay that out. And that helps us in the next step, which is our engagement roll. And what we basically do is we roll a dice, several dice, to see how well the start of the plan went. And then we just kind of muddle it from there. So, has anyone any idea on how they could gather information on their target? Either Rorik or the Maw or even the Dimmer sisters?
I'm just going to put this out there because I know a lot of people here haven't played a lot of Blades in the Dark, but some of the options are, you know, you can use almost anything to find information out. But like, for instance, Murmur could attune to the ghost field around the Maw to see if there was like a ghost door or a ghost passage into it. So we would actually not even go through the material plane to get there. Or, you know, people could survey the environment from an elevated position or hunt for a way in. So there's lots of options. You're not limited in how you do it. Or a slide could go in and literally talk his way around the pub till he figured out the lay of the land and who might oppose us while we were in there. So
yeah, it's a wonderful time to play to your strengths. And there is no limit to this. You could wreck someone's kneecap until they gave you information. You could, I keep using wreck as my example. You could sway someone, you know, maybe a guy works in the kitchen and you could tell him you like his shirt. And he'd be like, oh, thank you. There's a ghost downstairs.
You know how many times I've been in a pub and that's what I've said. Oh, I like your shirt, but there was a ghost downstairs. Oh, well, that's, yeah.
Probably true in a lot of parts of Scotland there, right?
Yeah, no.
Excellent. So is anyone looking to gather information? Anyone who wants to have a go for it? Pat, what are you doing to gather information?
Well, you know, the silent and surly type. Ash kind of just, after giving a nod to Jackdaw and saying, I'm going to talk to you about this new person. I'm going to go scope out the spot just in case.
Yeah, so probably a great time to use Hunt, because Hunt is all about gathering information from a distance.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Where are you sitting? How are you gathering this? Are you like in a pub across the street? Are you like in a bell tower somewhere? Are you just standing menacingly in the square? It's like one of those time lapses where you stay the same, but everything around you moves.
I think she's got a very active approach to it, despite the fact that all you've ever seen her do is sit in various reclined positions inside the wherever the fuck our evil lair. She probably wants to walk about looking like she's busy with various delivery tasks. Maybe she's got a satchel with her that gradually gets less and less full of literally just rocks as she goes from place to place to place, making it look like she's delivering things. But she's really just getting a really good idea about the exact location that we're heading.
Perfect. Okay, so could you roll me a hunt? It's going to be risky because you are out in the public doing this, but your effect is going to be great because you have like an alibi, you know?
All right, no bonus dice. Let's do it.
Yeah. So
Oh,
for everyone at home, Pat just rolled 2 1s, which is the
That's-
worst
that's not a
failure
good
you can
roll.
have.
What
So
does that mean?
it's going
Oof.
really well. And, you're like
That's-
scoping the location, and you can see there's like quite a bit of activity around the mall. It's like busier in the evening. You're kind of late in the evening, and you're, doing your mime of like putting these rocks into it. And then a guy goes, "Why are you putting rocks in my letterbox?
Special
Wh-
delivery.
Were you sent by the barons? I'll pay. I'll bloody pay."
Good. I'm just a delivery person.
James, get the blunderbuss! And there's like, all of a sudden you can see the people outside the mall turn their head and they notice you. And they're like, you cut quite a striking silhouette. So your figure has been recognized by the guys in the mall. But you did pick up on it's busier in the evening times.
Okay. Wow.
Well, Pat,
yeah.
well done. Would anyone else like to see Tyler, what is Murmur doing to assess the situation? It's ghosts. It's your field. I think Tyler has their headphones out.
I was gonna say that is a terrifying image though. Like I put rocks in your mailbox. That's how you know I'm coming.
Incredibly
Yeah.
unsettling, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a horse head in your bed on a budget. Sorry, Tyler, can you hear us?
Sorry, no. I now can.
Excellent, yeah. We had a full conversation with you while you were on. So Pat just failed wonderfully in her role
So
against
bad.
trying to gather information. So we turn to you. This is a quest about ghosts. How
I
might you
like
figure
it.
out what's going on?
I mean, I would be down to try to find ghost doors and whatnot.
Perfect. Oh, so you're looking for ghost doors. Fantastic. What a great idea. So ghost doors are essentially they're like doors that were there before. And Duskwall is a city that was built on top of a city, built on top of a city. It's like Edinburgh. It's kind of like a lasagna. There are doors that exist in the past and in the future that you could absolutely tap into. So what you would need to do probably is attune to them. Or sense it out. So tell us, how do you go about attuning to things?
Let's see. Well, I'd like to imagine. Well, being a noble, I would imagine they'd have. I'm not sure if this is how it goes about to attune to things, but I imagine they'd perform almost like taking a bunch of these really fine gems and sort of stuff and kind of setting them up on sort of maybe like their own little like altar, or like just like kind of start doing scrolls on the ground, putting the gems in the right spots.
Fab. So it's almost like a ritual where you're like drawing out the space and you're aligning things, and you can kind of refract the light into you. Excellent. Yeah. So while you're doing this, I'm going to give you better effect because you've taken the time to do this. So I'll give you great effect. But again, any dealings with the ghost field is dangerous. So this is a risky roll. So position risky, effect great. If you want, you could push yourself to take 2 stress and get a bonus dice, but you don't have to.
What's this devil's bargain thing?
I'm so glad you asked. Devil's bargain is essentially it's where your games master or any of the members of the cast give you we will give you a bonus dice. However, regardless of the outcome of this roll, something will happen. So I could say, and I think a good devil's bargain for this, I will give you a bonus dice. However, regardless of the outcome of this roll, when you meet Rorik the ghost, he is mad at you because you've been meddling. You don't have to take it.
I will not take it. I will go with. There's no way we can fail 3 times in a row. I'll go with.
Now we have tempted fate.
Excellent. All right, roll them. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're tapping into this ghost field, and you know, you see it's bizarre. It's like you see the passage of time happen to this pub, the mall, and you're using your spirit mask and everything, which is giving you great effect. And you can see the spirit, like the passage of time, and this entire city is growing and falling, and growing and falling. And at one point, you see that where the mall is actually used to be a church, and the bell from the bell tower fell through the floor of the mall, and fell and fell and fell, knocking through all these layers of the building, and landed at the bottom. And while you're looking at where the bell is impacted, this broken brass bell, the giant, that's those two people laying across, you can see this kind of webway of doors. It landed on a really old part of the city that was like protected. And you can see this webway of doors. So you think you have a way in. If you can get everyone through the ghost passage, you have a way in to the undercroft of the mall. Well done!
Yeah.
Excellent. Would anyone else like to try and gather information before we start?
I think Jackdaw would be prowling around the area after he gets this information from Murmur, looking for alternate escape paths. If something gets if they get screwed in either their entrance or their escape, he wants to know that they've got a backup plan for getting out of the area.
Absolutely. So position is risky because you're also kicking around in public. Your effect is standard unless you something that can push it up in effect.
Oh, I'm pushing it up.
Excellent. So
I'm gonna go desperate to get great effect.
Excellent. So you can accelerate your position. You can make your position worse for better effect. So Aaron had a risky position, and he pushed it to desperate, and that meant that his standard effect went to great. And it also means he gains XP in his prowl.
And since I'm a daredevil, I automatically get one bonus die when I do desperate actions.
This guy's played this game before.
But what would a devil's bargain look like?
Oh, it's a tricky one, and maybe this is the time to open it to the floor. So devil's bargain, you're gathering information, you're looking for an escape route. I think that potentially in doing this, you have to use a bit of your climbing equipment or something that you leave behind, so it reduces your load by 1 on the next mission.
Equally, Jackdaw is a kind of corvid. Crows are a kind of corvid. Perhaps the crows are dissatisfied with somebody trying to cash in on their esteem by using another corvid name to try and imply that there's some kind of connection between them, and they've been looking for Jackdaw for a while.
Yeah, perhaps the outcome is, no matter what happens, you will be the eye of the anger. Like, you'll be the focus of the anger of the crows.
Oh yeah, I'm all down for that, because he's also got the reckless trauma, so he is all about putting himself out on the ragged edge.
Excellent. Let's go for it, sir. Let's roll him, baby.
5. Okay, now some consequences, but
yeah. So, like I said, you've scoped around, you've checked out this place. Yes, you have seen many ways that you get in and out, and you've kind of like laid them out for yourself, planned ahead. This is going to give you a bonus dice for engagement, but also better effect if you're trying to escape. You're well capable of deciding how to get out of there. The only negative is that the doorman on the mall nods at you as you pass. He knows you.
And then, as he does, Jackdaw is going to go over and shake his hand and try and lift his coin purse.
Broke. All right, so Dimitri's at the door and he's like, "I know you from somewhere, don't I?"
Indeed you do, my friend. I used to travel with the rooks, not unlike the crows. I'm Jackdaw.
Oh, you were that gang and you all ended up in Ironhook.
Well,
How'd you get
all of us but one.
Look,
I climbed up to the top of a building in Charter Hall and jumped off. It was a rough landing, but we Jackdaws kind of know how to fly.
either that or you squealed on your mates.
Could have
Roll me
been.
something to steal from this guy while you have him distracted.
Could have been. So let's we're obviously going to push that to desperate too, because why not?
Go hard or go home.
Yeah, go hard or go home. And I will push myself. Take 2 stress to push myself.
Somebody's trying to rack up their second trauma.
So this'll go real well for me, I'm sure. No, I fail utterly. Horribly.
Yeah, so we take your best failure, which is a 3. And this is a great, thank you, Aaron, for this is a great opportunity to explain damage. And so this guy is well used to people, like he's a doorman. He is sober when everyone else is drunk. He is well aware of like people coming in and out of the pub, and he sees, yeah, your big hands, and he knows this guy is going to reach my purse. And as you reach for his purse, he just backhands your arm as hard as he can. He doesn't break your arm or anything, but he gives you the worst like whiplash in your hand. And he's like, I'll remember you, Crow. Jackdaw, little baby rook. Don't darken my
That's fair.
door.
I gotta say, that was a good hit too, and you caught me fair and square. I owe you. And Jackdaw will pull out his own coin purse and give him a coin. And he goes, that is for you being so good at your job.
He's like baffled by this, you know. He's like,
hey, I was just practicing. I was never going to take actually anything from you, but since you caught me, you get my coin purse. That's only fair.
want to try again? And he pulls a pistol.
No, my dear friend, I do not. I abhor violence. It's just not my style.
So you take a level 1 harm, and how this works is it's like a tiered system. And when you fill up a tier, you take the effect there. So you'll see on your character sheets, Jackdaw, for example, has 3 tiers of harm, and once he fills up both tiers on level 1, he has less effect. So in a situation where you would have great effect, he has standard effect. And it just means that, you know, it represents how harmed you are. Level 3 harm, you're dying. Level 2 harm, it's a bad break. Level 1 harm is a bruised bum. So that's where we're going at. So I'm going to, unless anyone has any great ideas for gathering information. Oh, Slab. What are you up to?
Old newspapers. I want to study newspapers going back several months for all reports on the rooks, find out about their movements, their jobs, what went well, what went badly, any key figures, notables, things like that.
Fantastic. All right. It's controlled because you're studying newspapers, unless you're smoking while you're studying. It's not a risky activity. So you're studying a big stack of newspapers. You can go to the library, they keep them. In fact, they're a little bit like irked you asked, because no one ever asked for them. You have to go get them. So you're met by a very angry librarian with a very...
no, not the library, because remember that Slab's whole thing is that he's...
reads voraciously, right?
Not terribly bright, but reads anything he can get his hand on. He just doesn't want anyone to know.
Right, okay.
So I warehouse full of like crappy old newspapers, just like old stored copies, the ones that didn't sell, that got scooped up off the streets, that kind of thing.
Fantastic. So your position is controlled.
Mm-hmm.
Your effect is standard. It's a lot of newspapers to go through. But you can push yourself to take a bonus dice.
Yeah, you know what? I think I will.
Just 2 stress. Still 2 stress before the high step regains, huh?
Do I want to take stress, or do I want to change the position to risky?
You could do that, risky. How would it be risky for you?
It wouldn't, would it? It's a bunch of old newspapers in a warehouse.
You could be keeping it in not your warehouse, so it's risky because the person that actually owns it is like, he's like, well, what the fuck is this?
Maybe it is that it is like you just go to the back of the newspaper place where they keep a copy of everything.
Yeah, all right, yeah, we'll do that.
Great.
So it's risky because I'm just going to go in the back of their office.
But the effect is great because they keep them dated and like backlogged, so you can find anything for the last couple of months rather than a pile. Absolutely perfect.
And like stress. What does stress do? If I take the 2 stress, that's pushing myself. I get an extra dice. Yeah.
Yes, for 2 stress, you get bonus. Yeah.
Let's do that. Hey!
Excellent. You find out a lot about the crows. The crows have kind of been on a downward spiral of late, and they're called community leaders in the newspaper, and people are crying out for community leaders to stop the violence in Crowsfoot. Crowsfoot seems to be exploding at the moment. There's 3 gangs vying for control of Crowsfoot. There's the Crows, who have always had control of Crowsfoot. There's a new rich gang of Eruvians called the Red Sash Academy. They've moved in. They're sword fighters. But they're still sending their youths out to kind of brawl at night to like take control of districts. And then, of course, there's Basco Baz and the Lampblacks, who are essentially, they work in a steelworks. And Basco is a bit of an upstart and a brutal man. The headline reads, "Hand found nailed to door. Where is rest of man?" You get the feeling that Crowsfoot right now is a powder keg. But you do realize the Crows are losing. They may not realize it, but they're losing. You can read between the lines. You can see that the Crows have been losing lately. And one thing you notice is that possibly it was leadership. Rorik was an old school guy. He went things by the book. It was all about respect. But these new guys, they don't care about respect. They'll eat your dog. They'll kiss your bum. So there's a lot of things. The Crows are on the back foot, and lately you see less and less news reports about them. And you actually, in the most recent newspaper, see a headline that says, "Where are the community leaders when we need them most?" And it's people saying, "Well, I remember Rorik used to come out. He used to stop all violence. Just the appearance of him on the street, and everyone would stop shooting each other for like 5 seconds."
Could everybody stop getting shot?
Yeah, everyone would stop dying of bullet wounds at a moment's notice. So yeah, that the Crows are on a downward spiral.
Splendid.
Now we go.
That gives me some brilliant flashback opportunities then.
Absolutely. Now we go to our engagement roll. Now our engagement roll is probably one of my favorite parts of Blades in the Dark. For those of you reading at home, it's page 127. It's beside the nice handsome man. So we have to basically just tell 2 things about our plan, and then we roll some dice, and that is the first step of the plan gone ahead. So we have to decide what type of plan we're going for. And our options are assault, deception, stealth, occult, social, and transport. So assault is obviously you go in, kick doors down. Deception is to lure, trick, or manipulate. Stealth is to trespass unseen. Occult is you engage a supernatural power. Social is you negotiate, bargain, or persuade. And then transport is you carry cargo from point A to B.
Transport would make sense since we're using a ghost door to get in and a different way to get out. We're literally transporting a ghost, or stealth since we're trying to do it quiet. I think.
I think the reason we got the job is transport.
Yeah, I think transport's probably what we're going for. And as smugglers, transport is mainly what you do. So while it has an occulty kind of start, you're using a ghost door, it's your special way of transporting things. You guys are ghost smugglers. So what we do now is we go on to a couple of questions. The first is the detail. We just asked for one detail about transport. So the first detail we asked about transport is the route. We are going in through a ghost door. And the means is we're using Murmur as our conduit to open the ghost door.
Perfect.
Fantastic, right? So we'll get to that. The other thing I asked now is item loadouts. Now this can seem quite tricky, but it's not really. We just ask, are you carrying a light load of items, a medium load of items, or a heavy load? A heavy load, you are geared up to the teeth with a sledgehammer over one shoulder and a shotgun over the other. A medium load, you could pass in the normal street because a lot of people carry weapons openly into Skull. And a light load, you've very little items. It's kind of for like sneaking around, you have a bonus. Essentially how items work in Blades in the Dark is you don't tell me what you have until you need it. So a heavy load will give you 5 items. A medium load will give you, I think it's 3. Let me just double check.
Heavy is 6, 5 is normal, and 3 is light.
3 is light.
There we go. Thank you so much, guys. So I would just like to know what everyone is carrying in terms of load, and I'll write it down before we get going.
I think medium sounds right to me.
Yeah, I think medium.
Jackdaw's going heavy because he throws caution to the wind at every opportunity.
I'll go light then.
You in your pockets.
Yeah.
I brought some string. Are we going to need this?
I'll go normal.
Great. Okay, so we just have Jackdaw on heavy and I on light. And now I am going to pop away for 2 seconds. But before we do that, we'll get on to our engagement roll. And engagement rolls are beautiful. You get dice basically for all your all the work you've just done, and we roll it, and we take the best one. So there's a very simple flow chart we use. It's on page 128, again, for readers at home. So the first question is the operation particularly bold or daring? Do we think the operation is bold and daring?
I think going into a more powerful gang's headquarters to kidnap their dead boss sounds pretty bold and daring to me.
Sounds fairly bold and daring.
So that's a bonus dice. There you go. And they're also tiers above you, which means they're a more difficult enemy. So it's a bonus dice. Is this complex, contingent on many factors? It's not really that complex a plan. Go, get Ghost, leave. You know, we don't know yet, so I'm not going to take a dice away. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest?
I think using the ghost door to get us past their physical defenses definitely does.
Want to give you a bonus dice for that?
And we aren't going towards their
Headquarters.
headquarters.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's...
Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have particular defenses? No. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid, insight for this operation? I'm going to treat this as our gather information roll, and I'm going to give you a total of 2 dice for this because we're 2 successful. And are enemies or rivals interfering with the operation? Now, here's where I'm not going to reveal too much of my hand, but I'm going to take one away. Are there any other elements you may like to consider? So we've currently got 3 engagement dice, plus 1 for sheer luck. 4 engagement dice, a lot of dice. Are there any other elements we're not considering that maybe would help us or hamper us?
This is the moment where everyone's like, what could be helping or hampering us?
Well, if they're on the out and they're going to be distracted by the other gangs.
Yeah, I mean, they are in the middle of a gang war. That's...
Yeah, okay. I'll give you a 5th engagement dice. I don't tend to roll as high as 5, but let's see how it goes. Who would like to roll 5d6 for me?
Seems fitting that the new member would do it.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Bring it on, Saul.
We love it when Nye rolls dice for us. It always goes well.
I rolled so well. We're going to take a brief pause after these. So now, slash roll 5d6.
Okay.
Nice.
Crit.
Yeah.
6. Okay.
Well done.
Fantastic. So for those of you at home, I mean, we're all at home, right? This is the beauty of this entire setup. For us at home, we've just rolled our engagement roll. And I rolled 5 dice and only failed on a single one. But the beauty of an engagement roll is we pick the best. And he rolled 2 6s, which means he critted on his engagement roll. So if we look at how this heist went, we have to imagine how it's going best case scenario. So, Tyler, what does Murmur do to open a ghost door? Is it like a chalk outline you draw that just suddenly, or is do you just vomit a ghost door? How do you make a door open out of nothing?
Speak, friend, and enter.
Let's see. The thing about the system is that we can just kind of do what we want. Okay. So since Murmur has figured it out, you know, I guess that it will work. They take out their chalk and their many gems, and they start doing a ritual circle on the ground that looks and resembles like a door, and she kind of put the gems kind of as if they're handles to that door that she's written.
Right, okay, cool.
And then tries to open the door.
So if you imagine opening a door that the other side opens at the bottom of the ocean. That's the kind of feel you get from the reception that greets you. It's this rush of energy as you the door open, and you can hear this like wailing and screaming and until you put your spirit mask on, and then suddenly all is a sea of tranquil calm, and you can see your way through and lead the others through. However, for the rest of you, Murmur has just sat down and does crayon drawings on the floor, and then opened up a portal to hell. And I was like, "Come on, everybody in!"
Stay close, and you will not get lost.
Is this safe?
No.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Hey, Murmur, this is super exciting. I'm all in.
So stay by me. I hate this shit too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'd be grabbing the sleeve.
So you guys progress down. It's like
We hop in.
a negative space. It just you're walking, but actually the distance to the door is getting further and pulling in and out. It's really difficult to navigate, and Murmur's leading the way with some sort of accuracy, and it's almost like as they're going through this, and they go, "Oh, hold," and turn right, and as you turn that way, you see that there's suddenly a drop off that wasn't visible before, and it's the sensation of like tiny people tugging at your clothes, and people are whispering sweet nothings into your ear, and also threatening you. It's this awful experience, and then all of a sudden, Murmur draws a rectangle in the middle of nowhere, and opens another door, and you arrive into the dark and incredibly deafening silence, other than the odd drip of a cavern, some sort of cavernous space. You feel like you're in a cave or some sort of location, and in front of you on the ground is a very patinaed and decayed, cracked, smashed old bell.
Is this the right spot, or did I get it wrong? I look back to Jackdraw. I'm like,
Hey, Murmur, I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it. Now we just got to find the ghost and, skedaddle.
I won't go back in there ever again. That was horrible. I think I heard my grandmother.
it probably was not your grandmother. There are many ghosts that like to trick people with that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, there's never a grandmother. Just evil stuff.
Oh, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay, yeah.
So as you look
Best
around
not
this,
to dwell too long.
as you look around the space and your eyes adjust to it, you realize it's like it looks like kind of a crater, like an impact site, and it's not the impact site of the bell. The bell has kind of landed off to one side. It's this giant crater, and you can see bits of old buildings sticking out of it, and there's like kind of a fossilized detritus. So the only thing you notice that at the bottom of this, there are some very fresh bodies on the ground around you, and some older ones around those. Someone has been throwing people into the mall.
He don't look very well.
Yeah, they're dead bodies. Yeah, whoa.
Not overly surprising, given who we're coming to retrieve.
Oh, they're very dead.
They're-
Well,
Would
let's
I-
get busy then.
Can
Would I
death crows
notice-
fly underground?
Hey, yeah, they might have marked this spot from above, but who knows? They may have some hoodoo or something going on here that keeps the death crows out. I've heard some assassins have ways of making the death crows confused about locations. So, yeah.
There are many ways to fool the death crows. Not every death goes reported, and not every death in Coleridge is reported. It's a rough part of town.
Could tell him jokes.
I'm terrified to the crows, but also I love the idea. It's like someone just went, they are crows. Like, we can't trick them.
They're incredibly smart for crows, but it's like saying she's a smart dog. She's still a dog. And yeah, so they're incredibly smart for crows, but they can be fooled.
That's the spear
Right.
wardens. You don't want to mess with those fellas.
I'm going to get out my lantern and have a bit of a look around then. I shall survey the area and see what we can see.
Perfect. So you're in the field. It's risky at best. I think it's actually risky at the moment. And your effect is great because you're using a lantern, which is buffed you up for the standard. So if you tick, one of your load was a lantern.
Yep.
Perfect.
Nice.
Fantastic. So while you're looking around, you know just in time to hood your lantern. And you could hear voices approaching. While these guys are still talking about the death crows, you can hear voices approaching me. What do you mean he had the money on him before you kicked him down the hole? Everyone knows you take the money off them before you kick them down the hole. It's like step one. There's 800 steps to down here and 800 on the way back up. Hey, fuck you, Gary. I hate you. I hate working with you. a voice is approaching from the distance, and someone goes, "I died, look, I got caught up in the moment," you know.
Company.
My gun cocks.
Jackdaw will pull his fine shadow cloak around him, and he'll try to prowl into a position where, if necessary, he can knock one of these fellas on the back of the skull.
We're looking at a map right now on the VTT. We basically have a cavern, and there's some ways leading in. And for you guys, I'm going to highlight that from one of the routes coming in. Let me just ping it here. This is where Slab heard them coming from, and you're all in this spot here. So yeah, Aaron, there are plenty of spaces for Jackdaw to hide.
Okay, so he's going to prowl over there, pull his fine shadow cloak around him, get his,
Yeah, so I'm going to say effect risky, but great because you're using a shadow cloak. Otherwise, because you were heavy load, I would have said limited, but absolutely, go for it.
Or the other one, would I be able to like have a ghost help and like push the other one?
You could absolutely let's roll out what Jackdaw does, and then we'll have you can absolutely reach into the ghost field and see what you do next.
I also want to hide and prepare a fire.
Perfect. So
So just got play dead. Like awesome.
Ben, apparently everyone's still looking at the
Shouldn't be. I can see the right screen. They might need
so can I
too.
So can I.
Might need to refresh for it, Jack.
That's okay.
I'm going to stand in front of Ash and Sol, so that Ash can kind of shoot past me and like a meat shield.
All right, great. And Sol is going to stand way out of his depth.
Hopefully also behind. I might even just pick him up and maneuver him in front of me, so that Ash can shoot under my arm and he's just like can't see what she shoots.
Perfect. Okay,
Sounds
excellent.
right.
So, let's have your prowl roll to see how successfully you hide. And
Okay,
the
so
rest,
Oh no, go ahead. I'm just going to instead of so I know it's risky, but I'm going to push it to desperate because I want greater than great effect. I want extreme effect on this.
Okay, fab, yeah. So
And
it means that you're getting really close.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
what's the devil's bargain look like?
A devil's bargain is that as you get out of the light or the area you guys are in, we just lost 9. As you get out of the area you guys are in, ghosts start to take interest.
Ooh, he likes that. I'll take it.
I love Jackdaw.
Do it. More ghosts, the better.
Perfect.
All right, let's see how bad this goes. Oh, 6, thank God.
You look like the Rockface with the cloak and everything, but you can feel these prying hands, and you can hear people whispering promises, and the sound of like teeth at the back of your neck. And it's not like they're biting, but they're just demonstrating that if they had teeth, they could. You're feeling cold all of a sudden. You realize that this is like a very active location. Occult-wise, this place is hopping. It's off the charts. So the rest of you, Ben, Sol, Slab is staying where they are.
Yep.
I can believe, yeah. Now it is dark down here. You've
And
lit
I've got
lantern.
a big, long, dirty, browny grey duster on.
I'm really glad you finished that sentence. Yeah, okay. And then, Murmur, you said you were interested in reaching out to the ghost field.
Yeah, please.
Are you trying to compel ghosts to do something?
I had 2 thoughts of what Murmur would be aiming to do in a certain situation. One would either be talking to ghosts to basically find anything about what's going on around, but with the current situation, I think that it would be to try to see if a ghost can push one of them off these stairs, or even just to be like, hey, go possess that guy.
So to be clear, like there's no they're not falling over a ledge or anything. They're coming down a corridor. They just come down 800 steps.
Okay,
And
got you.
But for sure, a ghost is still a ghost. Most people are ill-equipped to deal with them. So you're going to need to roll something to communicate with the ghosts and engage with them, and then we'll see what happens.
Cool. I mean, I have Attune and Command that are both pretty high up there.
Yeah, I'd probably lean more into Attune.
Yeah,
because we're in the ghost field.
That's good.
And then your position is desperate. You're trying to convince ghosts to do something they don't want to do, which means you get an XP in in that field. And your effect at the moment is limited. Is there anything you could do to push up the effect, make it more effective? Any bit of equipment you might use? Have you like something that focuses your energy?
Mind Spirit Mask.
Spirit Mask, yeah.
Yeah, I do have my Spirit Mask.
So the Spirit Mask is on. That's brilliant. You're at standard effect. Is there anything you could do to push it to great effect?
Let's see. Standard. I don't. Oh, what about if I happen to have brought arcane implements?
100%. Yeah, 100%. That would push it great. So you tick those, and that counts as one of your load. Spirit Mask doesn't count in this case. And then you roll it. Now you can push yourself for an extra dice, but you take 2 stress. You could ask for a Devil's Bargain, or someone here could assist you. It means they gain 1 stress, but they have to be able to explain how they assist you, and you get the bonus dice.
I got you. I'll take a Devil's Bargain.
Okay, the Devil's Bargain in this case is, no matter the outcome of this, there are so many ghosts that whichever way it goes, it's extremely powerful.
Oh, like the ghost is extremely powerful.
Yeah. So you're like normally when you reach out to ghosts, there are always ghosts around Dustfall, but a lot of them are what are called echoes, and they kind of just repeat the task they did when they died, or something like that. You're reaching out looking for a couple of echoes to throw at this guy, and you get like the behemoth of ghosts. You get a very vengeful ghost. The trouble is, if it backfires on you, you are still dealing with the behemoth of ghosts.
Hey,
I go where the ghosts go.
Yeah, I'm down to do that. What is that? What is when I take the Devil's Bargain? Is that gives me a bonus die? Cool.
Oh, nice.
I got 2, 6, and a 5. I assume that's good.
Uh-oh. Looks like, oh no, Josh hasn't frozen. Phew.
Sorry guys, my internet just tanked there.
You didn't drop off, it's okay.
I missed everything, but you rolled! So, yes, excellent. A 6, a success. Yeah. So, it's like you see Jackdaw get into position, and he's like, pulled his cloak around himself and has become part of the rock face, very Hobbit-esque on the Mount of Mordor. And you're like, and you reach out looking for some sort of entity. And as you describe to me how you reach out. You put on the mask. What do you do? Is there an action you do? Is there some sort of stance you adapt, or?
I put on the mask, and I'm going on my noble background, of course, but also a little bit on the type. I'm gonna say it wrong, but where I'm from, Demon Lands. I pull out some very excellent demon blood crystals.
Okay, so Taikarosi style crystals.
And I'm like, these are for you.
Help
me.
It's like bait. I love your noble's approach to dealing with ghosts. It's basically just bribery.
Money is for everyone, dead or not.
And normally you're used to you feel the energy draining out of these. But in this case, they float out of your hand.
Nice.
And they split into dust. And all of a sudden, everyone in the party, bar Jackdaw, who's braced himself, is knocked prone from this gust of wind. It feels like wind, but it's hot. And as these 2 guys round the corner, they're both lifted off their feet. So they can go, yeah, I'm telling you, next time you rough them up, You do the bit of show, and then you kick him down the maw, and you hear this like banshee style howl as it lifts these two guys off. One of them falls out of his boots. The other guy like starts scrabbling along the ground, is dragged along the ground in front of you guys, swung around an S, and then dragged back down the corridor. And the other guy takes off running. Ah! You've successfully passed that test. The cavern is yours again. Everyone is looking at you with the face of terror.
Money. Good for many things, not only the living, but also the dead.
Mama, I like your style, but I think we need to move fast now and
Yes.
get that ghost.
Or me
I
next
agree.
time.
I'm just gonna lie dead here.
No,
Sorry,
you stand
man.
up or you will be dead.
Okay, I'm staying up.
As I said, follow me.
Okay.
So there's only one other way out that the guys can take, and you can see it leads to like doors and windows. It's like an old shop street down this way, and there is noise coming from there, but it's not human noise. It's like a gale, but again, it's that same kind of noise you heard in the ghost echoey place. And as you're approaching it, you get the hairs on the back of your neck start to stand up. But you look down the street, it's empty.
Hey, fellas, I'll catch up with you in a second there. And Josh, I'd like to do a quick flashback.
Fantastic. Let's look around, please.
So Jackdaw, while he was scouting everything out, realized that we might get into a physical altercation with the crows. So he slid by the Eruvian sword school to steal one of their sashes and badges that he could plant on the scene if necessary to throw off suspicion.
Okay, so how flashbacks work is, depending on how big an action it is, we dictate stress. I think for a lurk to steal something isn't a massive amount of stress. But I will say the Eruvian Sword Academy are quite well protected. I think 2 stress is fair for this.
Only 2.
Absolutely. So this will definitely counteract the heat you guys take. So you leave a sash
In that guy's hand, like he tore it off that guy before he got knocked out.
Perfect. Well done. Excellent. So you guys start to head down. You're looking at this street. It's like imagine like a perfect dark street, and Slav has relit their lantern. They're kind of scanning the street, and you can see the reflective bits of glass and the signs in a language you guys can't read. And out of one of the doors of the opening, a man walks through and looks at you and goes, no, it's not here, it mustn't be here, it's somewhere else, it must be. So wait. And he goes through another building.
Hey, did y'all see that?
That was Ghost. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm assuming he wasn't our ghost, though, Murmur, right?
Was it?
You tell me. It's time to attune, maybe, or do a bit of ghostly work. Anyone can attune to the ghost field. Maybe
Where would our ghost go? Given his behaviour, his attitude, his behaviours, where would he likely head to?
Now, because you did the research on the crows beforehand, you know that Rorik was a fiend for a card game. An absolute fiend for a card game. Anywhere he could get a card game, he would go play cards.
Right, Ricky's a gambler. Likes cards.
You know, Jackdaw pulls out his deck of dimmer cards, starts shuffling. Anybody up for a game then?
I'm going to try to attune and see if that was, in fact, our quarry.
Cool. So,
yeah, would that be risky?
Yeah, anything involving the ghost field is risky. Yes.
Right.
Risky effect. And the effect is standard.
So,
okay.
Josh, can I aid Ash by pulling out the deck of Shardwood?
Oh.
Yeah, but you can add a dice to it if you want. Yeah, so
that would be lovely on account of wow.
Yeah, so you could pull out a deck of cards and lay them down again.
Ghosts hate me.
Can I also assist, or can only one person assist?
Just one person.
Just one, okay. Yeah. Otherwise, you could all just be like, the economy breaks down, but everyone can suddenly assist. Yeah. So you watch Murmur. You're filled with like ghosts are easy, and you like flick a slug up in the air, and you're like, oh, is this the ghost we're looking for? And all of a sudden, you hear the most heinous things in your head, like the worst things you've ever heard, and you hear thousands of them at the same time, and it's brief and it's bright, and your eyes water and your nose feels like you've just sniffed like hot sauce, and then you're in the room and you're looking at Murmur, who's just shaking their head, being like, no, and you could take level 1 harm, psychic damage.
I would like to use my foresight ability.
Yes, please.
To prevent Pat suffering that harm.
Aww.
Okay.
2 times per score, you can assist a teammate without paying stress. Tell us how you prepared for this.
That's how you. That's when you're given us a die to assist. It doesn't prevent.
So resistance is different. Pat can resist the effects of it, but a level 1 harm I wouldn't bother at this point. The second one is the one that matters. But yes, you could get 3 assists twice going from here. So Jackdaw's pulled out.
Sorry, I interrupted you, Josh.
No, please go on now.
I was just Saul's asking if Ash is okay, because I imagine you made a face if you had ghosts screaming in your head.
That reminds me of back home.
Oh, that doesn't sound happy. Okay,
I don't think that's our quarry, but I frankly can't tell.
Okay, well, Pat.
Don't touch me, please.
Yep, that's fair. That's very fair.
Touch material, make it dirty. Excellent. So you're standing on the street. You realize that ghost you saw before, no, it's heavy. There's quite a few of them, and they're all kind of kicking around, stuck in a cycle. He comes back out the door he came out before, despite you never seeing him returning. No, it's not here. It's just right here somewhere. It must be. And you can see a woman who's washing a window that is no longer there. She's just in the middle of the air. Just 4 or 5 of the ghosts caught in some sort of cycle here. You kind of get the feeling if you're looking for Rurik, you'll need to draw him out. He might be caught in a cycle.
Like it's a good time to play some cards.
Yeah, Mama, maybe attune to this here deck of cards I've got and see if you can't coax him out for a friendly game.
Sounds like a good plan to me. Lay them out.
Oi, pretty boy, come here.
Oh, okay. Wait, am I the pretty one?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you're definitely the pretty
Your
one.
face is messed up like everyone's.
Oh, okay. Well, I think scars can be beautiful, but that's a different opinion.
Listen.
Okay, yeah.
You're a talky fella, right?
Yes.
Actor in it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so telling stories is your thing, yeah?
Yeah, in a roundabout way, yeah.
Alright, here's what you gotta do.
Okay.
You gotta go around making a big deal out of their card game. Such a big deal. High rollers. Really important. Really sing a song about it. You don't have to sing.
Oh, okay. Who is this?
Only the best. Ricky likes
This is
cards.
your audition.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I have a pretty collection, whatever that word is, with ghosts. I'm a little bit nervous about summoning one or attracting one to this location.
Nah, you ain't summoning. That's what the
Already.
cards is for. You're just telling them it's there.
Okay.
Come
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
it's like the circus, innit? That's acting.
Yeah.
So it'd be like a setup action.
I was
with
just about
Murmur
to say,
setting
Aaron,
up, yeah.
this sounds like a setup action. So setup actions are fantastic. You do an action, depending on the outcome, affects the next action.
And what I'll do is I will use my foresight to assist Nye there
Perfect.
Well, nice.
So,
by pulling out
Fred,
a collapsible top
Do
hat
it.
and a ringmaster's jacket that might have a slight stain under one armpit.
I was going to ask 2 things. One, so my special ability is Ghost Voice.
Oh, nice.
You know the secret method to interact with the ghost or demon as if it was a normal human, regardless of how wild or feral it appears. You gain potency when communicating with the supernatural. What does, so like wild and feral, that's like that's not what these ghosts are like. Because
No,
they're not really.
If you went out to the
just,
Deathlands and you kind of like left the lightning bars of the city and you walked out, you would meet wild and feral ghosts. They don't make sense anymore. The only thing they know is that they desire the life you have. They can't return to it, but they want it and they want to pull it out of you.
You still get your potency though.
Yeah, you can still be like, hey,
That's awesome.
hold on now. Yeah, that is what
Okay.
a skill to have in such an
Well,
occasion.
we said we were smuggling ghosts. I thought, well,
Yep.
this makes the most sense, I guess. And it also explains why he doesn't like talking to them. Because that's the most
Because
horrible
they actually understand it. That's
thing. A big
so much
slobbering
worse.
monster is like, hello there. Oh no.
Ugh.
I can just feel like I could open up to you about the murders I did.
I really wish you wouldn't. I'm quite tired and I'm in my bedroom and I'm 9.
Exactly, yeah.
Excellent.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
So how a setup action works for the folks at home. A setup action means that depending on if this is successful, anyone who follows the action you've done gets either a +1 effect level or an improved position. So you can take from desperate to risky, or you can say that this has amazing effect. It's a really lovely thing to do for your colleagues. Well done, Nye, on this. So tell us, how are you engaging these ghosts? Slab has produced this top hat out of nowhere and gone like, whoa, and it's really tall. It's like unnecessarily tall, you know, and just put it on your head. So that's your assist. And you kind of feel like the entire party is looking at your back as you're looking down this weird street of desolate shops.
Okay. Well, so I guess Saul's probably gonna be like, weirdly when he puts it on, he kind of like loses a little bit of that skittishness. He kind of like rolls his shoulders.
Okay, right,
and it's like, okay, yeah. Oh yeah, no, we can do this. Yeah. Red leather, yellow leather, red, yellow. Oh, I can't do it. Okay. And then he'll just be like, roll up, come down, one and all, to see the most amazing card trick that you've ever seen. For you're about to see some of the most amazing gamblers this side of Scoville. Here are 2 people who I have the great pleasure of knowing as friends, confidants, and perhaps even enemies, as they are able to transcend the laws of luck and logic as they battle between the wits that takes to command the cards, and only those who have a great understanding of such an art form could truly represent these masters. Kind of a big waving of the arms.
Fabulous. Position risky, effect great.
Okay. So am I rolling sway or are they rolling? Sorry.
It's up to you. You're rolling. It sounds
probably
sounds like a sway, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to push yourself for 2 stress to get an extra dice?
Maybe you've already got an extra dice from me.
Okay, and sway is like, I think I'm good at, so I'll be fine with just so it's risky, and it's a great effect.
Great effect, yeah.
One bonus die for Liam. Is that right?
And then 1 bonus die. Okay.
It's wild. You suddenly have a captivated audience, and you weren't aware of how many ghosts were actually in this area. There's about 20 ghosts making their way towards you. The woman is still washing the window as she approaches, and that guy goes, maybe it's here, maybe it's here. And they're gathered around this weird occult circle of people playing cards. And out from the back, you see one ghost in particular that just has status among the other ghosts. He's not babbling to himself. He's not repeating any particular action. And he walks down and goes, "What are stakes of this game?"
Oh, well. Sorry.
I pull out a bunch of noble gems and put them in the middle.
He like pats his sides. Is like, "I am light on coin. My name carries gravitas."
And that name is?
Rurik. I am leader of crows. In this part of town, worth any amount of money.
Jackdaw gives Mortimer the nod. You got that spirit bottle handy there?
Hold on. If he wants to play and he wins, then he gets the gems. But if he loses, he agrees to go in the bottle for a little while to meet some friends.
He goes to crack his knuckles, but no sound comes out. I like these odds. I like friends.
Well, then let's play some cards.
Excellent. This sounds like a group activation. We're all playing cards. And what would we put cards in? I think finesse. You guys are clearly cheating, right? You're cheating.
Oh, yeah, for sure cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So group
Even
activations.
Soul has trick cards.
Yes. Everyone has trick cards. Group activations are amazing because what happens is one person who's good at that action says, I'm leading this action. And everyone rolls. And whoever fails, the degree by which they fail, adds stress to the person who has led the action. As long as the person who's led the action has passed, you will all pass, but it will stress out to the person. Imagine.
Do we have to all finesse, or can we all contribute our own special talents? So, for example, as a bit of a genius, can I card count?
Well, you could lend an assist. You don't all have to be playing cards. You could lend an assist by counting cards and nodding to, so you get a bonus dice to someone engaging in the group activation.
All right, I'll do that then.
Perfect. Okay. So you've been counting cards, and that's a free assist. You could tell us that you were prepared to do this. Yeah, you have the deck marked out with different.
My hands are about the size of someone's torso. It's going to be really difficult for me to palm stuff.
Yeah. Excellent. So who is playing cards?
And not everybody has to be included in the group action. So.
Yeah. So who is playing cards?
I know Jack is 2. So yeah, I'm definitely playing.
I'll play.
I think our whisper definitely needs to engage. Yeah.
Yeah.
And say that Ash is much of a gambler.
Okay, perfect. Ash isn't a gambler. And Saul, are you just conversing with the ghosts around?
Yeah, I think that's like, yes, are you my dead grandson? No, I'm really not. I'm sorry.
Ash is, however, really good at subtle gestures and keeping track of things. So she might keep an eye out and, like...
Actually, having someone on watch isn't a terrible idea.
We'll put you on watch because 2 guys just ran. One guy definitely ran out of this area screaming. You're on the clock, and you guys are just sitting down, crisscross applesauce to play cards.
I also now want to see a ghost do like shady card tricks, just like, haha, we can see you. You're translucent. We can see that you're pulling cards out your sleeve.
Excellent. Okay, so it sounds like Aaron, you're leading this. You have a bonus dice. Murmur is definitely rolling a finesse roll, and roll well. And Pat will roll your hand roll separate. And now I don't think we need to roll anything for Saul, but I'm so glad he's here at the moment. Excellent. So would you 2 people like to roll your finesse rolls, please?
So risky?
Yes. I was actually, you know what? It's desperate. You're playing cards with dead people. This is as desperate as it gets.
I love it. Desperate standard effect?
Standard effect. It's game cards.
This can't go wrong. Fine. Okay, it's not bad. Not bad.
Yeah. Okay, so...
But let's see what...
Take the lowest, so you take a 3. So you take 3 stress, Jacked up. And you
I'm going to resist that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so resistance roll. Tell us how you're resisting the 3 stress.
So he's playing, and he looks over and he sees Murmur he's shuffling the cards in his hand in such a way that it's very obvious he's getting ready to palm a card. And so at that point, Jackdaw stretches out and accidentally knocks Murmur's hand to knock his cards down on the table face down so he doesn't pull that hold card. But he knows, that's not something you do with the table. And he's like cringing on the inside when he has to go that route.
Excellent. So how a resistance roll works is Aaron now rolls one of his core skills. So on his page, let me just get them up for ourselves. We have prowess, insight, and resolve. That sounds probably like prowess to me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
And it depends on how many pips. If you click the word prowess, it will figure out how many dice you get. And then you take your result away from 6, and that's how many stress you take. You still take 3 stress.
Still take 3 stress. Okay.
It's fine. Yeah, you
He's on the
definitely.
ragged edge.
Sorry.
You but no, it's actually you avert that disaster. You see that he's about to palm cards, and then you guys start playing, and you're cheating to your heart's content, and you realize Murmur is cheating, but you're actually accidentally competing against each other for the first round. You both screw each other over, and you both lose the first round of cards, and this ghost is standing there. The cards are like floating above his hands, and he's but yeah, you guys start to win. Because you have passed your finesse roll, you start to win this game.
Dealer? I just realized, do we have a dealer? Can it be
you.
one of the other people?
That's you, Saul.
Oh, okay. That's what Saul's doing then. Yeah.
It's definitely not the guy. This can't be it. I lost it here. It's just you guys are playing this game. Now we could use a clock, but I'm conscious of the actual real world clock. And you guys win at cards, and it's this really weird moment where Rurik goes to slam his cards on the table, but they don't. They just kind of fall. And then he stands up and swings at Jackdaw, and he goes right through him. And he's like, where is carriage? I will get in carriage.
And I pull out a spear bottle.
And just like that, excellent. So we're going to expedite things a little bit. You have Rurik. You guys have already planned multiple ways of escape. Would anyone like to engage a flashback?
Yes.
Which has enabled an easy escape. Yes, please, Ben.
I would like to have enabled... in a flashback, I want to have set it up so that the Lamp Blacks find out that the Crows are going to be having a tough night because they're planning on going up against the Red Sash. So while they're gearing up against the Red Sash, they're not all going to be in their base.
Right.
So anybody who wanted to attack the Crows pub, tonight would be a great night to do it.
Hey, then that's a stressful role because you have to go deal with Bazgo Baz, and you have to convince him that.
Do I have to convince him though, or can I let that rumor disseminate through the streets? Because one of my allies, one of my shrewd friends, is an information broker.
Exactly the person to go to. So you've gone to the information broker and you've told them this, and actually you've picked up a couple of slugs for the information. So not quite a coin yet, but maybe your next drop to the information broker will earn you a coin. And they agree that this is worthwhile, and they tell you a couple of things in exchange. And probably the entire activity has only cost you a single stress because you've bounced around with this. And it is as you guys return to the cavern that you can hear from the top shouts and breaking bottles, and all of a sudden you see a whoosh of light at the top. Someone's thrown some sort of burning cocktail into this pub, and you can hear the shots of gunpowder and things. There's about 800 steps between you, the top of the mall, but you kind of get the feeling that when you get there, you could sneak out easily. So we're going to expedite a bit. You guys get out.
Would, before we go up, Jackdaw would lean down and pick up the purse that those two thugs were coming down the stairs to get.
Excellent. Would you roll me a fortune roll, please, Aaron?
Just one die?
One die.
No.
It's like this guy fell maybe 800 steps with. It's not as clean cut as you thought it might. You got to find the person oh, that's not the person.
It was worth a try, right? Found a little extra coin on the side, but perhaps we should just be making our way out now. And he's looking a little shaky anyway. He's he's on the ragged edge, which is where he likes to be. But,
excellent. 800 steps later, you guys find yourself standing outside the mall, and there's now a street brawl happening, and the blue coats are battening the Lamp Blacks, who are battening the Crows, who are battening the Red Sash. It's absolute chaos, and there's people from their windows throwing water at them. It's just kind of like an average night at the moment in Coleridge. No one is trying to kill because death is a big deal here, but people are trying to maim, and there's a lot of
That's so
violence.
much better.
Yeah, and you guys could slink away back to your hideout, no bother. However, your hideout wasn't the drop-off. The drop-off was the dimmer systems.
Yeah, so that's where we would go, to the gondola that they told us to go to.
So as you approach the dimmer systems, it's this weird, building that stands out a little bit because it's freshly painted. Nothing in Duskwall is freshly painted. This building is freshly painted in this beautiful kind of light magenta, and the windows are all dressed very nice, and they have radiant plants in the windows. Other than that, it's completely shut down. All of the doors are barred, the windows are all closed, and it just has this terrible niggling feeling in the back of your head that you shouldn't even be looking at the building. It's almost like the building's trying to hide in plain sight. But below it, like everything in Duskwall, it's built over a canal. There are a canal runs that go, if you imagine the main canal goes straight forward, about a quarter of this building is over the canal and has a dock underneath.
So like a canal de sac.
Yeah, canal. There is indeed a gondola sitting there, floating at, just in the inky by darkness of the water.
Well, that looks like the drop-off there, Mama.
Who's going to put the bottle on the gondola?
Give it to Jack a second.
Yeah.
And I'll pick Jackdaw up by the ankle and dangle him over the edge.
Hey, careful with that there, Slab, but alrighty.
Excellent. You put it on the gondola and it sits perfectly centered. And then as you guys watch, the gondola just sinks into the water. And there's a slight fizzing noise.
Those sisters are creepy, but they got style. I gotta give them that. They got style.
Excellent. And you have completed your first heist. Nobody traumatized out. Nobody died. You learned all the rules. Fantastic. So I'm conscious it is now 11:15 our time, which if I realize people have things they need to do because it's lunchtime in San Diego, or a little bit after. So what we might do is we might just look at XP really quickly, and then we'll do all our downtime in the next session. Is everyone okay with that?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So if you click open your own character sheet, I'm going to use Jackdaw as my example. Jackdaw has, if he goes under his special abilities, he has mark XP, and it's a little kind of flowchart when you mark XP. Every time you roll a desperate action, you mark XP in that action as attributed. So you rolled 2 desperate actions, I think, in prowess. 3. Wow. Okay. Wow. You've maxed that out then.
I maxed out my prowess. Yeah.
Perfect. You addressed a challenge with stealth or evasion. There were those 2 guys coming down the stairs. You definitely addressed the challenge, so you get 1 XP in your playbook advancement there. You express your beliefs, drives, heritage, and background. You were very reckless, I think, absolutely. Jackdaw is a thrill seeker, but then equally that's your trauma, isn't it? So maybe
that's my trauma.
So beliefs, drives, heritage. Yeah, your drive was. Would you say
I'm an underworld guy, and my drive is to always push the envelope. Always push it past, like trying to steal the doorman's purse. I mean,
yes, I 100% think you do that. Even playing cards with dead people is and then you struggle with issues in your vice of trauma. Yes, you definitely acted recklessly. I think stealing the doorman's purse was pointless, really, other than to get you into trouble. So that's 1 XP for all those. We will move on to Slab. Slab, you are playing a spider. So every time you roll a desperate action, did you roll any desperate actions?
I did not roll any desperate actions.
So for the next session, desperate earns
Plenty
you
of
XP.
those. Plenty of desperate.
You addressed a challenge of calculation or conspiracy. Yes, I think the whole newspaper shtick was definitely calculation. In fact, I'm going to give you 2 XP because you had 2 examples of when you used foresight to plan for something. You express your beliefs, drives, heritage, and background. I don't think we've quite tapped into that in this one. Do you think so?
No, I don't think so.
And you don't have any traumas yet, so you don't get an XP for that. So you can see there is a value to having traumas. However, after 4 traumas, a character is broken and useless and they have to be retired.
Understandable.
So you have to balance it. And so, Tyler, Murmur. Let's see, we have... Murmur is playing... Yeah, go for it.
I think I did 2 desperate, I think.
Yeah, so you would tick those in. They were in a tune, weren't they? So you put 2 little ticks beside resolve rather than your playbook advancement.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then you address the challenge with knowledge or arcane power. You did a lot of that. I'm going to give you 2 XP for that. I think this whole thing hinged on you being able to do a bit of ghosts.
Where does that one? Where did they?
That goes into your playbook advancement.
Okay.
So 2
That's
XP
under
down
special abilities.
You express your beliefs, strives, heritage, and background. I think you did a really good job of your background with all the gems. So you tick one in there. And you have no traumas, so we clear that out. And Pat. Every time you roll, Pat, any desperate actions?
I did not roll any desperate actions.
You know for next time, address the challenge of tracking your violence. Yes, you definitely tried to track the place and you're willing to shoot a lot of people. I'll give you 1 XP in that. Express your beliefs, strives, heritage, background. I'm going to give you 1 for role playing. I think you played your character really well tonight. They were scary and
Thank you.
willing to shoot people at a moment. And you had an actual gun. No traumas just yet. Really. And then over to Nye, who's playing Saul. Nye, every time you roll a desperate action, was there any desperate actions?
Nope.
Okay, you address the challenge with deception or influence. Convincing ghosts that this was a high-stake game is deception. You express your beliefs, strives, heritage, background. Again, I'm going to give you some points for role-playing. Thank you so much for helping us lore dump at the start of the game. And it really, really tied everything in. So that's 2 into that, and we've all done our XP. The only other person that gets XP is the crew. So we look at our character sheet for GEIST, and we just all agree on this. Execute a successful smuggling or acquire new clients or contraband. Yes, we get 2 XP for that. It was a very successful smuggle. You did everything. No one noticed you were there. Contend with challenges above your current station. Yes, I'm going to give you 1 XP for that. Boast your crew's reputation or develop a new one. This is a new reputation. You're a fresh crew. That's 4. I express the goals, drives, or inner conflict, essential nature of the crew. I'm going to argue that, yes, you would get 1 for this because you are in the occult business. So you're flying through crew advancement, which is really good.
Nice.
Excellent. Payoff we will deal with in the next session. The only thing we will deal with now before we go is our rep. So you get rep and heat. And these are 2 kind of consequences for your actions. You're always against something in Duskull. I'm just trying to find the page so I can read the exact words out. I should know this off the top of my head. Oh my god, I open this page so often. It's under payoff. Payoff and heat. There we go. Okay, so heat is essentially someone is looking for you because of the job you just did. So we categorize our activity between one of these 4 levels: smooth, quiet, low exposure; contained, standard exposure; loud, chaotic, and high exposure; wild, devastating exposure. It definitely wasn't wild and devastating exposure. Was it loud, chaotic, high exposure? There was the gang fight at the end, but that is kind of standard fare at the moment coverage, you know.
Plus, it wasn't us.
Yeah, I would say contained, standard exposure. There was activity down at the crypt that night. Possibly people could track it back to you. So 2 heat, not bad at all. So we take 2 heat. Did anyone die? No. A well-connected target? No, we don't get the heat for that. Are you at war with another faction? Not yet. So no additional heat for that. You can reduce your heat in the future, but 2 heat really isn't anything to worry about. And we will look at our rep really quickly, and I am aware I'm blasting through this, so I'll explain all this better.
Yeah, you can play it back in slow motion on YouTube, though.
Yeah.
0.75 speed.
So after a score, the PCs take stock of their income from an operation. A successful score generates both rep and coin. And if you're reading at home, this is page 146. So we earn 2 rep by default. So no matter what happens, we earn 2 rep because we engage in a score. Even if we lose, we earn 2 rep by default. If the target score is higher tier than you, to take 1 rep per tier. I'm pretty sure the crows are 2 tiers above you, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I think they are too.
They're tier 2, so you take another 2 rep. Let me just double check. That's it. If you keep the core score completely quiet so no one knows about it, 0 rep. People know about it. You did this for people, so you take 4 rep. Isn't bad for a starting out score. And you've pocketed 6 coin.
4 rep takes us into turf territory. 4 more reps.
No. No, it's 4. We got 4 in total.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Soon, my child. So, fantastic. We've 6 coin, which we'll have to divide out amongst ourselves. Our gang has 2 coin in the bank before this. And we will start our next session with downtime and all of the activities. So, guys, thanks so much for playing. I've had a really good time.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you for running
So great
it.
to see you all.
Yeah, thank you so much for running.
And thanks to viewers. I really thought we would be playing to a credit none because Blades in the Josh isn't that attractive a title.
I didn't
Not
use the
at all,
blades in
not
the
at all.
Josh header. I'm saving that for a special occasion.
Befitting.
So yes, thank you very much, everybody, for coming along tonight and joining us on Garblag Games. Next week, there's going to be games as well. Load the... Oh, it's already open. That's what the problem is. I'm trying to open a thing that's already open.
Hate when that happens.
Yeah, super qualified. Definitely to ship material. The streaming schedule for next week looks a little bit like... You know what? Pat, tell us about Diesel Shot while this document fails to load.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Hi. I'm Spider Queen Long. I co-run Diesel Shot, which is another streaming channel, a Twitch channel, if you will. We usually run a little bit later than our friends across the pond. This week we have a game on Saturday, and it's going to be Changed Stars. Kind of reinvigorating our Changed Stars summer, which took a brief hiatus while I was on vacation.
Changed Stars, what's that? I don't think I've heard of it.
Oh yeah, you haven't heard of Changed Stars? Well, if you want to know a little bit more about it, it is a sci-fi setting that my collaborator on Diesel Shot has helped me create, and we are publishing very, very soon. We launched a Kickstarter about a year ago now, a year and a half, and we are finally getting into the final aspects of it. I'm finally going to be giving it a cover, actually. that's like this coming week's duty of mine. Yeah, it's a sci-fi game set in a post-Empire era, and the world's all about trying to figure out how to progress past the harmful legacies of the past and relate to the greater galaxy. Anyway, find a little bit more about that out on Saturday if you come by Diesel Shot, 8:30 EST, which I believe translates to a little bit too late in British.
Or a little bit early.
A little bit early, yeah.
That's kind of Aaron wake-up time.
You can also find us, yeah, exactly, right? You can also find us Monday. We're doing D&D, our longest-running campaign on Diesel Shot. Our High Roads campaign is going strong. They're entering a new... it's actually a great time to join in. They're entering a completely new saga. They just finished the liberation of Cathadak, the Hobgoblin province of the Empire, and now they are focusing on returning to their roots. And it's a very interesting campaign. And usually we would have a game on Thursday. I think this coming week we are taking that off. I might be wrong about that though, so don't quote me. And we're also going to be having another game on Saturday. That's our schedule at the moment.
Busy.
Busy schedule. Busy.
Tyler, you got anything you want to share with the group?
I'm currently doing this. What else?
A little bit a little bit blindsided you there, didn't I?
Oh wait,
That's
yeah.
okay.
Hold on, I got one more thing that I just totally forgot to report. If you're still in need of a stall.
No, I don't need a stall anymore. You're fine. But
Right.
you can do your thing.
Okay, I'm also on another channel in addition to Garblog Games. I'll probably be back next week. But in addition, I'm on Party Wipe Games, and on Party Wipe Games this coming Wednesday, actually around your time. Oh, damn, you run a game this time. Never mind. No spiel. If you find yourself in the neighborhood, though, after their game, you can just drop by to Party Wipe Games on Wednesday. Done.
Put both streams on at the same time.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Which I've
Dual
done.
stream drifting, yeah.
Your
Ooh.
brain will melt. But it's a good melt.
Nye, your channels. Anything
I
going
have
on this
channels.
week?
I mean...
I know they're not your channels, but you are a representative.
I'm part of other channels. So I'm on a podcast called $2 Page Feature. We don't stream. But if you go on that, on like any pods, catcher, whatever they're called, like Spotify, I don't know what they're called, but they do all the technical stuff. But it's a Monster of the Week actual play podcast. We're recording tomorrow. That would be a spoiler, so I'm not going to say what we're doing. But yeah, it's pretty fun. It's I don't really know how to describe it. I play basically a Blades in the Dark character, but even more, but in the modern day. And it's Monster of the Week, so we're people who are fighting monsters, and it's pretty fun. And you should check it out because everyone on that's really talented. So, yeah.
True say. I come back to you now, Tyler. Sorry, didn't mean to blindside you with that. Should have said beforehand. By the way, if there's anything you want to push.
I mean, I have my own channel on Twitch that is Fool the DM. I haven't done anything in a little while, but I am going to start doing some things soon. On YouTube, there is a lovely Call of Cthulhu YouTube series that I got to be in that just recently had its finale called The Glass Chronicles. You should be able to find it under Carrie Smith on YouTube, and it's literally like it's a series that covers 3 different periods in time for this Call of Cthulhu nonsense, where they all get tied in together, and I also get to play a very, very rich person.
Awesome.
Sensing a theme here.
Well, for the regular stuff, if you want to find out more, head on over to the Discord, catch us there. This will be up on YouTube sometime-ish. Loads of links in the chat. Don't forget to sub. Don't forget to Patreon. Don't forget to YouTube. Come talk to us on Discord. Next week on Garblag, we've got nothing on Monday. Tuesday, Alien Heart of Darkness, the quadruple cross section. We're in chapter 3 of Heart of Darkness. It's all gone horribly wrong. Even the space station's double crossing us now. Wednesday on Garblag, we've got Once Upon a Time in the Old World. Jim's fantastic, super brilliant NPC spectacular. Thursday, Pete is doing Heroic Deeds, his own OSR D&D hack. And North America are allegedly doing Achtung Cthulhu and killing Atlanteans, or not killing Atlanteans. I don't know if they're the good guys or the bad guys.
We haven't got that far yet.
Okay.
We're just in Egypt hanging out, potentially, dealing with some more snake people. Who knows? Come by and check it out.
And next week, of course, we're back for Blades in the Josh. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. And, I better open OBS to say goodnight, hadn't I? Good night.
Night.